When it comes to investing or expanding into a new real estate market, one of your first team members needs to be your property manager. Finding a quality property manager that understands the market you are investing in and also understands how to support long-distance investors might be the most important piece of the puzzle. A quality property management company can make or break your investment. With that in mind, today we chat with Kenmore Team Property Management, who manages over 550 properties within the Tri-Cities area. Before we get to today's interview, though, a quick update on our latest project, which we have nicknamed Smoky due to the fire it had in it in 2018. That update is, well, there really isn't much of an update. We're waiting on the okaying of our proposed floor plan and permitting. We're in that stage of waiting, which can be so frustrating. I can remember back in 2018 and 19 when we started purchasing properties, my wife and I would both get so frustrated at why a project wasn't moving faster or that it feels like nothing is getting done. And it's true. This is the most frustrating part of the project. We're just 17 properties into our real estate experience and understand this is just how things go. Cities take as long as cities take, and pestering them to move faster can very quickly backfire in more ways than I have time to discuss today. On the other side of that, however, is understanding that permits and going through the process takes time, and knowing how to push, when to push, and more importantly, how to create relationships that can support you as you move forward are key to any good rehab project. Now that brings me to today's investor highlight. Know that most cities want you to be successful, especially if you are fixing up a house that has been an eyesore in a neighborhood for a while. Both my wife and I have had success in interacting with city officials when we talk to them and with them and treat them like a partner in our project, not an enemy we're trying to defeat. All too often, I hear stories from real estate investors who take a me versus them approach to city officials, and more times than not, their projects get delayed. We also look to partner with contractors who have connections within the city we're doing business. If a contractor has a good relationship with inspectors, then it has been our experience that the projects go much more smoothly than a contractor who doesn't have a good relationship or might even be new to the area. In some cases, it usually depends on the size of the city you are investing in. You might even call the city and ask them about a contractor or contract firm, if they are known within the city and if they are known to be and do good work. When it comes to being an investor, you have a lot of partners, and your project and the city is just one of them. Now, before we get to today's conversation, I wanted to welcome you to a new era of property inspections, brought to you by our episode sponsor, Inspectify.com. Whether you are flipping a home or making a cash offer on your next property to grow your portfolio, Inspectify.com ensures your property's potential is fully realized. Precision inspections informed by robust data adapted to your individual needs, setting a new standard in the industry. They even provide key intel on permits and appliances to future-proof your property. Spanning the nation, Inspectify's extensive network promises swift inspections within 48 hours, allowing you to close faster. Visit Inspectify.com today for inspections that blend tradition with technology. And if you haven't listened to episode 30 yet with Inspectify.com CEO Josh Jensen, it's worth a listen to hear more about how Inspectify.com can support you in your real estate investing journey. And with that, today I chat with RJ, Sierra, and Brett from the Kenmore Team Property Management out of the Tri-Cities. We discuss the greater Tri-Cities area as an investment opportunity, what buyers are looking for in rental properties today, and how the Kenmore team support their investors in investing in this fast-growing market of Kennewick, Pasco, and Richland. Enjoy this great conversation, and with that, on with the show. Hey folks, I want to introduce you to Inspectify, our partner that is transforming the way properties are inspected. Whether it's new construction, acquisition, sales, unit turns, or renovations, Inspectify can capture your inspection data swiftly and efficiently. Customizable inspection scopes, cutting-edge tech, and an API integration promise high-fidelity property data with every report. They also have unique insight into permits and appliances, protecting your investment from potential pitfalls. Ready at a moment's notice, Inspectify ensures excellence with proprietary tech, top-notch customer service, and coast-to-coast coverage. Want to learn more about what Inspectify can do for you? Listen to episode 30 of the podcast, where I interview CEO Josh Jensen. Don't wait. Visit inspectify.com now and enter the future of property inspection with Inspectify. All right, welcome back to the Washington State Real Estate Investing Podcast. So excited to be joined today from the Kenmore Team Property Management out of the Tri-Cities. RJ, Brett, and Sierra are here to talk about property management, specifically in the Tri-Cities areas. Excited to have the team, or half the team here, or however big your team is. We'll get into that here. RJ, let's get started with you. Talk a little bit about Kenmore Property Management. How many properties do you have, and kind of where have you grown to, and kind of where you're headed?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you having us. We started about 9 years ago, and we're obviously here in the Tri-Cities. We have 550 units currently. Started out with 36 units that we bought a portfolio of a property management company that wasn't doing so well, and they wanted to get out of the industry, obviously out of burnout, as sometimes we've seen in the industry here. But so as far as the team, I've brought on Sierra Jones, which is our leasing manager, and our BDM, Brett Patrick, who brings on the properties as well. So we're excited to be here and answer any questions that you guys have got. Help out.
Awesome. Well, let's get started with just some like larger ideas here. What are some current trends that you are seeing in the Tri-Cities area, particularly? Are you seeing rents still kind of going up? Are they stabilizing? What are you kind of seeing from just a rental number standpoint right now?
Well, I'll turn it over to Sierra here in a minute, but what I'm seeing with the area that we like to be in, which is luxury rental properties, is that they have had within the last 60 days or so a drop in the interest of renting out these properties. They used to be not much of an issue, which are regular turnover of about 21 days in order to fill, but now they're pushing out into 45 and 60. And as we're at a critical time after Thanksgiving, we're really trying to figure out strategies to get these properties rented. So, but what are we looking at, Sierra, for the leasing trends?
I would say that things have started to even out, kind of similar to the just real estate market. We saw so much growth over the past 3 years. Things really went up, and now they're starting to just kind of level out. I do think there's still some room for increase and just upward movement on those, but ultimately I think that we're probably going to see a little bit more of a plateau than anything.
And are you guys mostly are you all long-term, or do you long-term and short, all long-term rentals, Brett?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. And are multifamily, single family, where are you guys kind of headed right now?
We're primarily single family.
Okay.
We're pretty much 4 units and under. So fourplexes, we have a handful of those, duplexes, and then like a large percentage is, RJ might know the exact percentage, but is single family.
Okay. And you said luxury units. Mm-hmm. Who's renting this? Who's coming and going? Who's kind of your clientele that you're aiming at?
Yeah, Sierra, who are we bringing into those properties that have rented out within the last 6 months or so?
I would definitely say we have a lot of people either out at the area that come in and rent those, or PNNL, some doctors here and there, but definitely the area and PNNL brings out a lot of our more high-end renters.
Awesome. I can even explain a little bit, because what the area is, it's the Hanford nuclear site. If you're not familiar with this area, there are a lot of engineers that come here. We have a lot of big engineering firms. So that's to clarify what that is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and this is one of the things I love about the Tri-Cities is, so many people, even in a couple Facebook groups I'm in, they're just saying, well, I wouldn't go to the Tri-Cities because it's all agriculture based. I'm like, you obviously don't understand the Tri-Cities if you think it's an agricultural based area. Can you talk a little bit more about the industries that are kind of running the Tri-Cities right now, and even where you're seeing some of the growth in some industries?
Yeah. Yeah, Brett, you want to?
Yeah. So, I mean, agriculture is, I won't discount that too much because it is definitely huge. Like wine particularly is like where we compete head to head with Napa Valley now. We have so much wine here. So that is definitely wrapped into agriculture, but also, and then all the other, types of agriculture that you would see pretty normal. But like I mentioned, we have the Hanford nuclear site employs thousands and thousands of people. I would have to look up the exact, but it's in the tens of thousands of people, either on site or supporting. So that's another one. But medical is getting bigger and bigger as well. Every year we have 3 large hospitals here. So that one's changing. And then the one that people don't always think about or realize is, so the Amazon data center in Oregon is only 30 minutes from here. And it's and it's in Boardman, which is like a town of like 2,000 people or something like that. So we get a lot of people who are working at the data center that will rent our properties in our South Kennewick area because it's only a hop, skip, and a jump over the river there, rather than trying to rent something in Hermiston or Boardman, Oregon, which is a lot smaller. And then we have 300,000 people in the Tri-City area. So we have a diverse. I mean, we get car dealership managers, we get doctors, we get a little bit of everything in between. So one of our luxury rental properties was got by a guy who's working at one of the dams here, and he was a high level manager for one of the dams. So we get a little bit of everything, but that's kind of like an overview of the area.
Yeah. Well, and it's really becoming a logistical hub as well. I know Amazon's building, I think, a big logistical center over in Pasco. And I think there was somebody else was building another big
AutoZone has a warehouse over there as well. And then there's a couple other food ones for food distribution that are like Dairy Gold. And there's one more that I'm blanking the name of right now, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's something for people to be thinking. I mean, it's so interesting. It's so centrally located to not only, Washington State, but, as you're talking about, between Boise and Portland and Seattle and Spokane, almost everything goes through the Tri-Cities, and so it's just very logistically centered as well. And I think that's why you're also seeing, to your point, the medical aspect of things as well. So yeah, it's always great when I just love talking to people who actually understand the market that they're in and understanding some of the nuances about it. As a property management service, as a property management team and company, what are some of the things that differentiate you from other property managements? What are things that you try to focus in on or things that you think make you unique in this area?
Well, I'd start and say just the team environment that we've grown to become. We have professionals that have specialized in either our maintenance side of things, our leasing side of things with Sierra, and our sales side of things with Brett. So bringing on properties and making sure they're taken care of at a professional level and with those point of contacts as a team atmosphere and working seamlessly internally as well. It does help out a lot in the expansion, and it also can benefit our clients as well.
Mm-hmm. And do you guys have any rental? Do you guys have any of your own rental properties that you manage, or are you all third-party landlords that you're supporting managing properties?
Yeah, mostly third-party. I have one property that we manage, and we're looking to expand on that. That's one of the goals for the next year. Up to 24 is what I've heard of the number of that we want to house internally from our team. So
that's great.
Yeah,
I like that. When it comes to property management, one of the things I think that a lot of people think about or try to wrap their heads around is the role that technology plays in the service sides of things. And Sierra, maybe this is a good question for you. When you were onboarding new tenants, is there anything specific around technology or things that you guys have adopted that just makes that smoother of getting tenants in and out of properties?
We use AppFolio for all of our leasing.
Okay.
That's our leasing software, our maintenance, everything. So utilizing that to the fullest extent is really beneficial for us. And sometimes it's a little bit harder when you have someone who maybe isn't as tech savvy, but because it's so user friendly, usually we're able to get past that, and then it ends up working out for both tenants and ourselves, as well as the owners, because everyone has a portal, everyone has access to all the items that they need. They can look at payment history or maintenance history, or the owners can see the inspections that we've done on the properties. Everything is just run through that AppFolio software, and it definitely, being able to have that and use that and introduce other people to that has been super beneficial for us.
I like that. I like that. As an investor myself, and thinking about, if I'm going out and hiring a property management company, what are some things that you do for homeowners to just make sure they feel supported and that their properties are well taken care of?
I would say we definitely grab everything with both hands as soon as we bring them in, and really walk them through everything that we do, everything that we expect, everything that they want out of this, and just really clarify things so that nothing's lost in translation. And I think that's a good way to start a relationship, especially when it's with a new owner or new client, new investor, just really setting the outline for.
I like that. I like that. If investors are looking to maybe invest or increase their portfolio and looking at the Tri-Cities, what recommendations, Brett, maybe that you have for different areas of the Tri-Cities? What should they be looking for? Are there different homes that seem to be renting faster at this point?
Yeah. So, we don't have any, I wouldn't say there's a few areas, but for overall, the Tri-Cities is, pretty unified. So I wouldn't say there's a whole lot of areas where I would never buy a house there, but there is a few areas that do rent better that we like to manage and that they stay rented longer. So that's usually, we like the West Pasco area, the South Richland, West Richland, and West Kennewick. And the main differentiators between all of those is most of the properties were built in the last 20 years in all of those. So we have a neighborhood here that rents super well. It's just down the street from our office. They're all built in the last 5 years, or actually I think shorter than that. So brand new single family properties rent really well. They're always appreciating, and that's and they're, as far as on the owner side, they're relatively maintenance free for the first few years. I mean, you might have little things, but that seems to do really, really well, and that's something that we like to manage as well. But those are a couple things. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. And where are you guys located? Are you guys in Richland?
We're in Kennewick, but if you walk across the street, you're in Richland. I'm not even kidding. Yeah.
Okay, so you're right on the border. Okay. All right. Great. Yeah. And I think it's just really interesting because there are these different pockets, and to your point, West Richland, and maybe help me if I'm wrong here, but West Richland, you get a lot of the Hanford people because it's closer going out to the Hanford area. The South Kennewick area is closer to the data center, and so you can kind of get these pockets on the, and there's been so much growth. And RJ, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but just the growth of the Tri-Cities over even just the last 5 or 6 years, I feel like is just exploded.
Yeah, it has. I mean, when we got into the industry about 9 years ago, like I said, it was a lot smaller than it is now. And what we're seeing is the expansion from Pasco north for Richland west, and West Richland is expanding even more west. And then Kennewick's going south. And so South Richland is just getting a little bit better. They're putting a lot more into it and taking out some of the agriculture that's been sitting for a while and putting in new developments. And so we're seeing a lot of growth in that aspect. And it's been an interesting journey, to say the least, to see how things have progressed. And if you go 15 years ago, the people that come back and say, I used to grow up and live here, they barely recognize it, right? Because it's just expanding and growing, pretty exponentially.
Yeah. Yeah. And what are prices like for an investor who maybe is looking to expand and maybe come into the Tri-Cities? You talk about a bunch of these new builds that have been, built in the last 10 years or so. What is the price of a home? What can you expect for rent on some of those properties?
Yeah. We'll say like the median value is around 400,000. So that's where we're sitting. 400 to 500,000 is a good price for an entry level newer home. And for those prices, you're probably going to get around 2,100 to 2,300 a month in rents.
Okay.
And with the initial year, you could probably get, we put in probably 200 to 300 for that initial newness premium is what we call it with those new builds. But that's kind of where we're looking for price point and your rental estimate for those newer properties. I know that Hayden's building some at DR Horton, I believe, is out in West Richland. They're building a new community out there as well. And we picked up a couple of those and interesting to get involved in that situation as well.
So are investors buying these as brand new builds and then just turning them into rentals right away? Is that by the handfuls. So we'll get an investor who will buy, anywhere from 2 to 10 at the same time. And we've had investors within the last 7 years that have been buying them at like 10 to 15 at a time. Right. So it's, and they buy them new and they entrust us to take care of their properties, and then they go and buy more afterwards. So it works out really well for them, and their appreciation that they see over the years and the equity they built into it after those first 5 years, they're like, wow, this is working. Let's do more. Yeah. Wow, that's great. Do you work a lot with out of state or out of area investors? And if so, what is your communication like with those that maybe don't live in the Tri-Cities who are investing in the area?
Yeah, we do. California, Texas, we have some in the Midwest as well. The communication, it's seamless with, all the technology like you were mentioning and everything being online, and having an open form of communication as well with the texting, phone, and if you need to jump on a Zoom call as well. So it works out really well for those investors that want to come into the area. If they need to know a little bit more about it, they connect with Brett and he can walk them through what would look good and give them some options and make it work for them.
I love that. Sierra, you work a lot with incoming tenants. What are some trends that you would say are standing out to prospective tenants right now? Are they looking for, you got to have a backsplash that is, marble these days? I don't know. What are you kind of noticing if I'm looking to invest, some of the things, or maybe I'm updating a property? What are maybe some things I need to be thinking about that renters you feel are really looking for right now in a home?
I would say a upgrade that owners can do as things come along is appliances. Updating to stainless steel appliances is a small but also at the same time a big upgrade to any property, as well as hard surface flooring throughout the house, especially the main living spaces. A lot of people, used to really like carpet, but I've seen it time and time again. It's really starting to get phased out. So putting in those hard surface floorings that typically last longer than carpet anyways is definitely a good way to go as well. And then just making sure that your property is taken care of. So, not skipping over those little repairs that, might seem kind of minor, because those repairs do add up, and tenants see those. And if they see a property that's well taken care of, they're more likely to take care of that property themselves when they move in.
Yeah. And I agree with you. And I think one of the things that we're finding very interesting, all of our rental properties are in Spokane, but the cost of doing carpet versus the cost of doing LVP flooring is minimal, if not cheaper at this point. And to your point, it's a way better, I think, for a rental property. Like, you're not replacing carpet when everybody is spilling their juice or whatever's, on carpet. You've got waterproof vinyl plank flooring that lasts. I mean, for us, they're lasting forever.
Jeff, we had a property, like this was probably 3 years ago. We had 2 properties. They were the exact same floor plan, exact same builder, and one had luxury vinyl plank through the whole property, even the bedrooms, and one had the builder basic carpet through the whole thing. The one with LVP rented twice as fast and for like $100 or $200 more money. Same flooring, similar year bill. They were like 2 years apart, and that was just like a great example of what Sierra's saying.
You're right. That's what people are looking for today. And I think the other one, and Sierra, I'm glad you brought it up, stainless steel appliances. They're a little bit more expensive these days than say your standard white, but it's one of the first things we do with all our rental properties is we just buy stainless and just expect to buy stainless and build it into your costs. I mean, it's not that more expensive. And I think, to your point, people expect it now. I think nothing looks dated or makes your rental property look more dated than white appliances, or heaven forbid, they're still green or yellow, but yeah. I love that. I think those are some great little things that you can do, and a couple throw rugs on a hard surface go a long way for sure as things get going. Awesome. Well, you're up to 550 units, RJ. Congratulations on that. That's some great growth with your team and everything. What's the future look like for Kenmore Team Property Management? Looking to grow more? Do you have a goal in mind?
Yeah, we do. We have kind of a 10-year overarching that's pretty significant, but our 3-year, we're looking for around 1,000. So,
okay.
Yeah, we're looking to expand a little bit further around this region as well. So, yeah, we're looking to grow and continue to take on market share, make sure that we can provide an excellent service.
I love that. And if there are investors listening to this that maybe want to reach out to learn more about what you offer, maybe go a little more in depth into the Tri-Cities area, what's maybe a great way for them to reach out to you?
The best way to learn more is to email Brett@KenmoreTeam.com. And then you can also go online to KenmoreTeamPropertyManagement.com.
I love that you put Brett's email out there, so you're not getting all the emails. That's class. That's good. That's good leadership, RJ. It's like, I don't want these emails. I'll send that all over to Brett. So, but we'll make sure that all of that is in the show notes as well. Appreciate you guys joining us today. Sierra, thank you. RJ, Brett, thank you so much for being here and talking a little bit about Kenmore Team Property Management and the Tri-Cities area. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.